The Adam Carolla Show presents Dave Coulier's birthday cocktail party for September 21st. Let's see who's invited. English sci-fi author H.G. Wells. The composer of the classical piece The Planets, Gustav Holst. Let's welcome the animator and cartoonist, best known for drawing Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck, Chuck Jones. The man who might be able to tell you who shot J.R., Larry Hagman. Hallelujah! Leonard Cohen is here. Newscaster Bill Curtis joined the party. Producer Jerry Bruckheimer is here. From Muscle Shoals, one of the Swampers, David Hood. One of the Eagles, Don Felder. Stephen King just walked in and scared the shit out of everyone. Let's welcome the affable Bill Murray. From Fargo and No Country for Old Men, let's welcome Ethan Cohen. Actor Rob Morrow is here. Faith Hill, Ricky Lake, Luke Wilson, Liam Gallagher, Nicole Richie, and, in his first appearance since his assassination, Shinzo Abe. Dave Coulier is on the Adam Carolla Show.
Wow, stacked lineup. Live and Local's the name of the series. New episodes every Thursday exclusively on Flix. And you can also check out Dave's Instagram at @dcoulier. I will spell it Coulier. All right, should we do a little news, Gina?
Let's do it.
Quick correction, Pure Flix. I said on Flix, Pure Flix is where you can find Live and Local. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and by the way, Dave, I want to commend you and that crew for really honing in on what makes it like a real radio studio vibe on that show.
Thank you.
I was like kind of like, sitting there with my arms crossed going, okay, let's see. You nailed it. Your co-host is amazing.
Thanks.
The PD is amazing. You guys really, it's like you've actually worked in a radio station.
Well, I didn't want to do a caricature of a radio guy.
You didn't.
I just wanted, the guy's kind of a curmudgeon, and I just thought, he's in a really small market, but he's number one in a faith-based radio station.
But he can turn it on when the mic's hot.
Yeah. The biggest challenge for me was technically because they built us a radio station, and I had to run the board. So I had to,
You really ran the board?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And the show is like 60% scripted and 40% improv. So when we have guests on, we're Zooming, an interview can go any of a million ways, as you guys know.
Yeah, it's really fun.
So it was, that's really, coming from you, that's really nice to hear.
It
Thank
meant
you.
a lot.
I'm surprised, or maybe you do. It seems like radio, you should have some radio background with all the voices and characters.
I do, but it's when I was 18 years old. I just graduated from high school from Notre Dame in Detroit, Michigan, and I got a job the week I graduated. And I went to a now defunct progressive rock station, WABX, and I got a job as an intern there. And I still had braces on my teeth and long hair. And I thought, man, this is the greatest job ever. I love working for free. This is great. But I got to meet some interesting people. Ted Nugent, Bob Seger. Detroit stalwarts. Royalty in Detroit. So it was a really cool job, but. For this character, I always, remember like promoting shows, and you do those old AM stations that had been around since the 40s. And there was always that one crotchety guy who's like, this coffee's terrible. There's not enough sugar in the damn world to make this coffee taste good. And you're on break, right? And then all of a sudden, you ready, Dave? Okay, my next guest is Dave Coulier. And it was like a magic trick. The guy would just turn it on.
Yeah.
And so I kind of pulled from those crotchety guys that I remembered on those old AM stations.
It's really well done, and I like the
Thank
little
you.
Easter egg jokes for radio people, like, but why are there 5 letters?
Yeah.
You can't explain it. Anyway, it really, really well done.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
really appreciate those words.
Well,
Thanks.
let's keep up with the will they, won't they Twitter Elon one life to live episode we're in. Because as expected, Twitter sued Elon Musk on Tuesday for breaking off his $44 billion agreement to purchase Twitter. Twitter asked the court...
I'm going to add to the list of things I'd like to do. I have a list of like to jump into a body of water with a knife in my mouth and go on stage and have a cape removed from me.
Be thrown out of a casino for counting cards.
I want to to add to my list, I want somebody to threaten to sue me, and I reply, get in line. That's what I want to add to that list.
That's very good.
Yep.
In the complaint, Twitter said Musk apparently believes that he, unlike every other party subject to Delaware contract law, is free to change his mind, trash the company, disrupt its operations, destroy stockholder value, and walk away. And on Friday, Musk claimed he was dumping the deal because Twitter failed to deliver the information on the bot accounts that he requested. But I've been digging a little bit, and it sounds, Twitter says we've given him everything. There's even something called, I want to say the fire hose, that's like the magic key of like, here is all the encryption data, here's everything you need. And he's still claiming we haven't given him enough. Is this a cat batting around the mouse?
I don't know. There's a lot of theories about what he's trying to do. And
Well, he's already driven down shareholder prices.
Yeah, all right. But so he's the living embodiment of F me money. And you don't see enough F me money. You always hear about F you money, where, someone goes, it's going to cost you more to defend this case in court than it would just to settle up. And you go, I don't care. I have principles, But he is the embodiment of what you can do if you have a cajillion dollars and it doesn't make a difference. Also, you have to think about like money to him. It's not just that he has a ton of it. It's that it fluctuates to the tune of billions of dollars. So it's like one day he wakes up and, the stock price for SpaceX is high or whatever, and all of a sudden he's worth $275 billion. And then a rocket blows up, and now he's worth $215 billion. He literally just lost $60 billion because of something on the NASDAQ or the Nikkei average. So he can throw around money. His relationship of up and down is not what ours is.
Right.
And let's say a law firm sues him. He can just buy the entire law firm.
That's
Well,
right.
I'm buying you guys out. You guys want to make a profit? All right, I'm buying you.
Oh, my God. He's got to buy
Yeah.
Crazy Horse, too. And make it into a law firm.
Law firm.
Coulier's right.
Well, here's my question, which I don't understand. How come the richest people on the planet still don't use their money for projects?
I
Because
know.
you have to
Well,
raise the money.
That's how you stay
That's
rich.
how you
guess.
stay rich, baby.
I guess. I wouldn't know.
You're trying to buy a house, right?
Indeed.
Using your money.
That would be foolish.
Like a fool. You should be using other people's money to buy that house.
True.
Yes.
We have an update, and Dave, we'll fill you in on this San Francisco couple that wasn't allowed to use their driveway. We have an update on that.
Yeah, there's a San Francisco couple who's been living in the same house for 45 years, parking in what it essentially looked like almost would be a front yard,
Like a
but
paved over
paved
front yard.
over would be sort of like a carport
Yeah.
minus the roof part. And there's rules. Like if you want to. My grandparents did this a million years ago, I think. I don't know if the city made them do it or not. But you want to turn your garage into a den, the city's going to go, well, you need a carport then. You need a place to park your car because we don't want you out on the street. But update. So anyway, the city got involved, told them they could no longer park in this place that they were parked at for 45 years. Then they could have got it grandfathered in if they found a picture from 1914.
They would consider it.
They would consider it. And then they found this
They went through the microfiche.
grainy picture taken from a biplane, but they couldn't tell. And it wasn't enough evidence that there was a car parked in the driveway in 1914.
Like literally with a buggy.
Yes.
And so they even showed a picture of their own child there in like 1974. And like, we've been using this, like, not old enough. Keep going back. So they found a buggy pulling in. Nah, we're not sure it's a buggy. So this week, the planning department reversed their decision, saying that now there's evidence showing the space has been used for a parking spot since,
They didn't even. Okay, sorry.
since the 1950s.
They didn't even like give it up as like a goodwill gesture. They got some
They
proof
got
that
their
convinced
proof
them.
and they grandfathered them
dicks.
in. So yeah, as the refresher, they dug up all these photos. Not good enough. Not good enough. Finally, some picture from the 1950s surfaced, and they said, "Fine, you can use your own driveway."
It is, it's always
Two
funny
elderly
that
people on a steep slope.
we have this
Parking.
like society where we go, there's just not enough Border Patrol, or there's just not enough school teachers, or good that classrooms are over. There's always enough people to look up shit that has nothing to do with anything. You know,
Plenty of bureaucrats.
Right. There's plenty of guys at the Department of Building and Safety have an endless amount of time to comb through the archival records so some elderly couple can park where they parked the day before and had been parking for 44 years.
Ample.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
So
never,
everything's
Got a
going great.
picture of a covered wagon
that's right.
and a
Gosh.
chariot. Look, it goes way back. There's
Yeah.
a chariot.
And there's Cookie. He's ringing a triangle. It's dinner time, boys.
Ask Dave about Cookie.
Oh, Dave. The
Yeah.
name Cookie.
The trope of the guy in the.
Why would he be called Cookie?
I don't know.
Thank you.
I was with you, Gina.
I'm with you.
I'm
Yeah.
with
And
you.
I'm with Dave.
I was the only crazy
We're
guy. It was like,
against
you're all idiots.
Is it a
Apparently, it's because
genitalia thing?
he's the cook.
Oh, or maybe he makes cookies.
Yeah, maybe
when
he
he's
makes
cooking.
cookies.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
he
didn't
will.
know.
He didn't know.
Cookie, I never did it. I didn't do that
Didn't
math
do the
either.
Nope.
If Cookie farted on that wagon train, Dave. Well, hold
A
on.
steady diet of beans, chili.
Squirrel.
Let's say they're on the Muir Trail, and they hit a rough patch.
Winter came early.
Yeah.
That's right. There you go.
Bounce
That's right. Just bouncing along. All right, I don't want to have to call Stamos and be like, I got worse news. Second. Dave died doing farts in the studio. I told him one Cookie fart. He wouldn't stop.
He
And then
asphyxiated.
started turning red and he grabbed for his heart. And
His lung popped.
sorry.
Oh, God. All right. Let's talk about one of your favorite guests from yesteryear. Mattel is honoring her.
Minka?
Close. Paying tribute to Jane Goodall with its newest Barbie doll. The doll is modeled after the famed wildlife conservationist and primatologist, appropriately made almost entirely out of recycled plastic that would have otherwise made its way to the ocean. The new doll's release is intended to coincide with World Chimpanzee Day, which is today as you hear this.
You cannot imagine how wrong you are.
Oh, is that not
Adam
Chimpanzee
floated
Day?
a theory about monkeys to fucking Jane Goodall.
She wasn't in my graduating class with the groundlings, so she didn't exactly yes and me on that one. She told me how wrong
Which
I was.
which kid on the planet is going to want that?
None.
Yeah.
None.
The only thing that might sweeten the deal is it does come with a little toy chimpanzee. But yeah, that's not the outfit that little girls are trying to emulate.
Brian, I hope it has one of those drawstring voice boxes.
That's what I
So when you
want.
go, hey, Jane Goodall, Barbie doll, I have a theory about chimpanzees.
You cannot imagine how wrong you are.
That looks like Steve Irwin's outfit.
Yeah.
Hey, Barbie Jane Goodall, I think my dad has a lot of love for me. I really do.
You cannot imagine how wrong you are.
Hey, Barbie doll Jane Goodall. I am pretty. I don't think my stepdad is sexually attracted to me anymore.
You cannot imagine how wrong you are.
There you
Good.
go.
The hits keep coming.
Oh, that was so brutal.
Yeah.
I can't.
How
I wish I
embarrassing.
remember the Geo would tell us whatever the question I had for
Was
her
it
was.
a question in earnest?
I can't remember if I was fucking around
I gotta hear
or I was talking about chimps, but don't try to tell Jane Goodall her business. You know,
Something
look,
we've all learned.
you can talk cars with her all day long. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I can see that.
But don't talk chimps.
Yeah.
No.
She will correct you in a
You
New York
cannot
minute.
imagine how wrong you are.
Yes.
Can't wait to hear that when they pull that clip. Okay.
Yeah, she's still around.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Yeah, she's doing good. She looks just like who is Hume Crow? Jessica Tandy.
Is there
Bet
God,
you-
she's a saint, I'm sure,
Yeah.
but does something go wrong in the
In the Goodall household.
raising? Yeah, where your daughter says I'm living with chimpanzees. Like I'm done with human beings.
That's actually where the drop came from. You
Really?
were saying you must have hated your mother.
And she
You
agreed,
cannot
right?
imagine how wrong you are.
Perfect.
Then I must have been making a joke. Okay.
Oh,
She was not
better.
amused.
No, not amused. Most people who live amongst wildlife for years on end have a splendid sense of humor, I've found, but not Jane.
I bet you she's had a lot of ticks in her hair and stuff.
Oh, yeah. She's
yeah.
riddled with
Ticks.
Lyme disease.
Ticks,
Yeah.
Lyme disease.
But then again, the monkeys, the gorillas probably pull it out. Like,
No
like
shit.
Yeah, they eat
grubs.
them.
Crotch ants.
See?
Oh, my God.
Yeah, like tons of crotch ants.
You cannot imagine
You
how
sit down.
wrong you are.
You sit down on the ground, and all of a sudden you're like, man, there's a burning fire. I have crotch ants.
Is that what they're
They're
called?
everywhere.
I like that Dave just lived out the entire crotch ant experience.
Scenario. Well,
So
now-
you sit on an anthill.
Banana hill.
Well, now
You
we
go to
gotta
sit down in the forest, under the canopy, and you're sitting down, and there's chimps everywhere, and you sit down, and you're like, this is beautiful, and then that burning, crotch ants, and they're just everywhere.
And are there crotch ants, or are there just ants that get into your crotch?
Just ants. But if she's wearing those shorts,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you don't have a chance with crotch ants if you're wearing that outfit.
I hate to address the obvious, but I got to hear a Jane Goodall fart. Now, keep in mind, living in the jungle decades.
Fruits, berries, nuts.
A vegetarian-based diet,
Yeah.
maybe the occasional fallen chimpanzee.
And if you're out there, you're not getting a good wipe.
Let me put in a little
You're not.
Far
a
from
little
it.
sharper
leaves.
relief for you. She just got a crotch full of ants, and she's running for the lake. What would that sound like, Dave Coulier? And Jane,
Musical.
Let's ask Jane if that would
Did that
comport
sound
with
right?
reality, or is that something?
You cannot imagine
Oh, damn.
how wrong you
We're
are.
not even close.
First strikeout.
Yeah.
I missed it.
All right. Yes,
Well,
Gina.
here's a phrase that I've never heard before, and I challenge you guys to see if this sounds familiar to you. New York Jets quarterback Zach Wilson allegedly had an affair with his mom's best friend, according to his ex-girlfriend. And we have a picture of the mom, so I guess she keeps hot company. Ex-Abby Gile reportedly made the shocking claim that that's the mom in the middle right there. She's pretty cute, and the girlfriend's
Yeah.
on the side.
Is it Topanga?
I don't know. Oh, it does look like Topanga. So Abby Gile reportedly made the shocking claim after her new boyfriend and Washington Commander star Dax Milne shared a snap of them loved up on Instagram. So that's when one guy called her a homie hopper, and then she got pissed. She said Wilson was sleeping with his mom's best friend. That's the real homie hopper. Are you familiar with homie hopper?
No, but I didn't know about the Jublaze 10 minutes ago either.
George Lightning, yeah.
Yeah, so
I've
way
heard
out
of
of the loop.
mowing another guy's lawn, but that wouldn't be the case here.
Well, this is someone who
it's-
dates and then breaks
It's
up. and
interesting
dates.
that you phrased it that way. I mean, the phrase mowing another guy's lawn, because the great Norm Macdonald once regaled us with a story of getting with his friend's lady. And I said, where was the guy? Out of town? He's like, mowing the lawn.
Oh.
And I said, in a way, it's diabolical because you can just hear it, back and
If
forth.
you can see the
running.
shark, it's okay.
Yeah. It's when it stops that you got to dismount. But I always thought that was a pretty ballsy move by Norm,
Norm used to say the same thing to me every time, and it made me laugh every single time he'd see me. He'd walk up and he'd go, don't tell me, don't tell me, don't tell me. You're on a show. And it's a big show, but don't tell me, don't tell me. And your last name's Collier. Hold on, don't tell me, don't tell me. It's a show, and you're on with some kids, and that's it. That's all I got. Your name's Collier, right? Every time he would say the same thing to me, and it made me laugh because I know I'd seen Norm coming, and I'd go, "Here he goes." He said, "Don't tell me." As soon as he said, "Don't tell me," I just couldn't stop laughing.
Wasn't Norm's dalliance in the Coulier?
It was in the Coulier.
It was in the Coulier.
Yeah.
He upped the ante. Put it right up her ante. Yeah, I remember that part.
Wait,
going
what?
like brazen.
What?
He was
Ruined her pail.
having his way with
Slapped
his.
it in the bucket?
Yep.
Crotch ants.
Did he ask?
Yeah. I don't know what protocol is.
You gotta fill out a couple of forms in triplicate first.
We have the audio of Jane Goodall from the
sweet.
podcast from September 2011.
Wow.
Ready.
My mother deported me. It was a crazy idea. World War II was raging, and, we didn't have any money in my family, and Africa was the dark continent, and I was a girl, for heaven's sake.
Yeah.
So, of course people laughed at me, but not my mother. If you really want something, you work hard, you never give up, you find a way.
Maybe she just wanted to get you out of the house, though. Maybe this was all part of a ploy just to clear you out. It was this or boarding school.
You cannot imagine how wrong you are.
Good call, Doc.
Awesome.
Good pull. Yeah, I was making a joke. She's a serious woman
dare
of
you.
nature.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, that was 10-ish years ago, so she was just about hitting 80. So she didn't have time for your bullshit.
She's 90
She's
now?
88.
Wow.
88. Wow.
Yeah.
But how many years is that in crotch ant years? In crotch ant years.
she's 142.
142.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah.
Thor. Now, we talked about this in the past, how finally big movie studios are kind of saying feh to the Chinese market when we used to not do that so much. We used to cater handsomely. Thor, Love and Thunder, which is the top grossing movie in the U.S., is likely to be banned from China over LGBTQ content, including suggestions that the character Valkyrie is bisexual and that the character Korg is gay. It would be the 7th Marvel film banned by Chinese authorities over this. These kind of issues.
It's
We're over it.
It's interesting. I saw the movie,
And
it's campy. It's whatever. It's pushing a little hard on the humor
It's
department.
extremely silly.
I heard real hardcore Marvel fans think it's too silly and are kind of pissed about it.
I could see that,
Yeah.
but and it's fine. And he's always great. It's crazy. We're all kind of used to it now, but it's so diverse. Like when they go to Asgard and they collect the children of whatever, it's like the black kids and the Chinese kids and the white kids. And it's like back in the day when you had this sort of civilization that was made up of superheroes or whatever, it was pretty much one group or another group. The chick the queen of, I don't know where they were, Brian. I don't know they were in Asgard.
Are you talking about the Tessa Thompson character, the Valkyrie?
Yeah, they got the black chicks, the queen. She's running the show.
She's actually technically the king.
No, the
Remember,
king.
they kept referring to her as the king of Asgard.
Right. Yeah, it's very diverse now. It's
Well, just to catch you, I don't know if you saw the previous one, Thor Ragnarok
Maybe
with Jeff
not.
Goldblum. Asgard was destroyed, and they relocated the entire planet or community to some other place.
You're that nerd.
So you couldn't remake like a movie about the Three Stooges now without Larry being a woman.
no.
Larry
If you
would be a
did
woman.
Lord of the Flies, it'd be 3 black kids and 3 Asian kids and 3 Hispanic kids, and it's you can kind of buy it on like a Cialis commercial where there's like the white guy driving the convertible and he's got his black friend like riding shotgun. But when you're on different planets, it bumps you a little bit when the queen's got dreads. But
I don't think the audience is
cornrows,
gonna.
but
I don't think the
no.
audience is gonna dissect it that much. Still,
now I'm setting my ways.
Well, don't forget.
Code for racists.
If I remember correctly, Tessa Thompson's Valkyrie character is not an Asgardian. She is like a great warrior and is thus named the king of Asgard.
Yes.
We get it. You're nerd.
They try to do too much in films now. There's like too much going to the future and coming back. And it's
Don't
just
see
like
Doctor Strange.
Don't see Back to the Future.
They just keep, it's so expansive. Like it's hard to keep with a story.
Well, just getting back to the Chinese element real quick. Remember last year, we talked about this when China banned effeminate newscasters? That was like a thing. I'm looking at the headline right now. I remember we talked about it. China's broadcasting regulator has said it will ban effeminate aesthetics in entertainment shows and that vulgar influencers should be avoided.
Who's going to do entertainment news?
That's a very good question.
well, when do all the older people in China die so that this doesn't happen? When is there like a clearing of a certain generation? Like right now, we've got a bunch of old white guys in Washington.
And how?
When is that change? When does that evolve in a country like communist China? Or is it just so entrenched in we're going to pass this, this ideology down to the next generation to where it's that strong?
Yeah, I mean, I think unless you have people doing it willingly, it's the government making them do it. They don't give a shit. I wouldn't think.
Yeah, I mean, you have this dream of evolving.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, you just take, I remember Reagan talking about Mr. Gorbachev, take this wall down. You know, I mean, I was in high school, and now we got another nut job over there waging war in Ukraine. Mexico's pretty much
It's the human condition.
Staying on the road it's been on. Africa, it's sad but weird.
It's an old operating system, the human condition. It's just not going to evolve. Probably it's our DNA.
Well, you kind of wonder because talked about this with people as it pertains to, let's say, the Middle East. You go stay and demand change. And then you're I feel that way about California. Like, stay and demand change, or fuck it, I'm going to Florida and save some taxes. There's a kind of, in a micro way, there was a group of people who were like, Dave Rubin. Dave Rubin and his husband, David, they're like, we bought a house in Encino. We're staying. We're going to get Larry Elder elected. We're going to fucking turn this shit show around. We're going to fix California. And then 10 minutes later, it's like, yeah, we moved to Florida. Yeah. So I think there's that. If you're in the Middle East and you can't stand the way it is, you're moving to you're moving to the United States.
But how many, every 4 years we hear that from celebrities. If their candidate doesn't win presidency, they're all moving away. But everybody's where we left them.
Yeah, I mean, that's blowhardy celebrities who somebody got voted in who they dislike. But this is people are worried about taxes and crime.
And that so many because a lot of those celebrities are really wealthy, that they cry Democrat, 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 but when they go into the voting booth, they're pulling that Republican lever. Don't you think that is the case?
I do think,
for some of them?
I certainly,
because it's a facade.
Well, look, first off, people do a kind of a bottom line finance thing. When the Democrats are talking about a wealth tax and Gavin Newsom's thinking about getting from 14% to 18%. Yeah, if you're a really wealthy person and you'd like to be accepted in the social circles, you're showing up at the Newsom rally or pulling up in your electric car to Babs's house or whatever. But yeah, when the curtain closes, you may think, I'd like to save a few ducats.
Well, you know who challenged that? Katy Perry, and she got a lot of shit because apparently she openly backed Rick Caruso.
Oh, did she?
And people are not happy about that.
But Rick Caruso is a Democrat. Oh, he says. I mean, he's under the flag of it, so you're safe. You're in on a technicality, Katie.
I guess so. Do we have time for one more? Mm-hmm. Do you want to do? You guys pick. Do you want to do tuna or French fries?
When is the election, by the way, for mayoral? It's coming up.
November.
It's in November.
It's Bass versus Rick Caruso.
I believe so.
You got to go Caruso. Got to change it up. Anyone who's not in the system, I'm for.
Yeah.
And by the way, assholes, your argument of he's super successful. It's like, yeah, okay, good.
Great.
Good. He's rich, right? Yeah.
But
he owns a huge boat, right? Yeah. He's the guy who built the Beverly Center. Yeah. Those are all, yes. Keep going, Dick. Yeah, I'm waiting. Yes, that's what I want. Oh, versus done nothing, lifelong bureaucrat, sucking off the fucking tea to the taxpayer. That person?
Yes, them.
Yeah, okay, great. Yes, it's a wonderful argument you're making. This person's successful. Yeah. Thank you.
I saw his giant yacht in Newport. It's quite giant. It's humongous.
Is it a mega yacht?
It can only go in certain places. It can't go into bridges, obviously.
Oh yeah, like Bezos is. He wanted to get rid of that bridge. They said no, sir.
Oh really?
Well, remember he wanted to take that bridge down so his little boat could pass through.
Right. And those ships, those size boats, they draft a lot of water. Mm-hmm. Like those are like 20 feet, and they just don't dredge these canals and places these marinas and stuff. They're not dredged that deep.
Oh,
so you got to be you either have to park offshore or you have to know exactly what you're doing when you pull into those marinas.
And you take a little dinghy in if you have to?
Yeah, exactly. Wow. They call them commuters now.
Oh, not
those
dinghies.
Little commuter boats.
Oh, wow.
That are like a 35 or a 40-foot boat. That's a launch.
Oh, that's the scene from the romantic comedy.
You cannot imagine how wrong you are.
Right about that.
It's a kind of a little bit of a Pretty Woman vibe. You got the guy and the chicks. down and out, single mom. Of course, she's beautiful. She's,
Sure,
Julia
of course,
Roberts
obviously.
at 26. But she's talking to her roommate. I think this may be the one. He wants me to meet him down the marina. He's got a boat. He's going to take me on his boat. And then she sees the commuter boat. And she's like, oh, my God, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. We
Struck
could go.
gold.
And then as they start pulling up into the shadow
see her eyes?
of the yacht. Yeah, that's
good.
Yeah.
Laura San Giacomo has a heart attack.
Yeah, maybe we get a sort of young J-Lo type.
Yeah.
She's a maid,
Selena Gomez.
Yeah,
Vanessa Hudgens.
Yes.
All right, we got a pitch to Brian Grazer. Okay. Let's do tuna for the last
On
story.
deck, maybe we'll call it. I don't know. Just
That's
kind of
good.
spitballing.
Wait, is there
On
like a
deck?
baseball angle or something?
Well, we don't know.
Oh, okay.
It's ambiguous.
Okay, I
Kids love it.
I love
Kids love ambiguity. Ambiguity, yes.
All right. Well, remember this story that we kind of all thought was a joke with this Subway lawsuit with the is it tuna, is it not tuna? And then they kind of threw it out and it went away. Oh, it's back. A federal judge in California has ruled that the lawsuit claiming Subway's tuna is not real may proceed.
Subway the sandwich shop.
Correct.
So foolish.
Yes, the lawsuit, which was filed last year in Oakland, claims the sandwich chain's tuna product, quote, partially or wholly lacks tuna as an ingredient and may contain other fish species, animal products, or miscellaneous products aside from tuna. The claims
I never can figure out first off, a lot of people hooked on Subway.
Oh, yeah.
Hooked on. I love Subway.
Jared.
People say it all the time. And in a world filled with Jersey Mike's
Jimmy John's
and just corner Giamello's, the corner
Yes.
store we can get the footlong stuff. And the price is the same, or maybe it's 10% more at this place. It's
Negligible.
81 cents more for a footlong stuff. What is it? And what it is stupid people are like dogs in that they enjoy the same food. Doesn't have to be good food. It's just they love a Subway sandwich, and it's not even a good sandwich. It's a
familiar
it's a
sandwich.
Subway. It's like this familiarity
Yep.
thing, and I'm always, and especially when I get the lobster bisque. It's like, are you fucking nuts? It comes in a tub in the back, like it's congealed mayonnaise with pieces of imitation cod. Like why? Why? I like it.
No.
Like. It's the people that there are many Americans who, and I've gotten this argument with many people. I'm like, look, you got the Mrs. Butterworth. It's got the squeeze plastic container with the drip nozzle on it. It's just syrup,
syrup.
and
Corn syrup, yeah.
then there's imitation maple flavor and stuff. Go to Trader Joe's, get a glass jar from Canada.
Yeah, Dave knows about
Real
maple.
100%
price.
pure maple. And they'll go, I like this better. And it's like, you like this synthetic. That's like, I would like to fuck a pool raft over a supermodel. I like the raft better.
It looks just like her.
I nailed the cup holder. That's my move. It's like, don't you want Giselle Bundchen? Like, no, I'm used to the raft. Like, that's what it is. You grew up dumb. You got this stupid syrup. It's got imitation butter flavor in it. And you can't transition to the actual version of what it's
The
imitating.
thing you like, claim to like.
Familiarity breeds
Yeah.
familiarity.
It's gotta be a kind of a dumb though, right?
Yeah.
Or something.
That's just kind of.
It's so. I would say most people who eat pancakes want the plastic squeeze
100%.
bottle
Yeah,
of
you're right.
Mrs. Butterworth over actual maple goddamn syrup in a glass bottle.
You're 100% right. It's got to be 2/3 or three
Yeah.
quarters.
It's fucking weird, right?
Yeah, and I don't pat myself on the back like this too often because I was a kid and I eat kid crap. But if we would go to let's some sort of pancake house, maybe it's international.
It's international.
Can't. We'll never know. But anything like that, they had the syrup on the table, the maple, the
Yeah.
strawberry, the blueberry.
yeah.
Four-pack.
And my parents would think, she's a kid. Put the blueberry. Put the and I would cry and I'd say, I don't want it. It tastes like medicine.
Yes.
And it just never tasted good.
Yes. And I get that everyone got the Mrs. Butterworth when they were 9, and that's fine. Probably enjoyed it. And then at some point, you start to transition into martinis, cigars,
Bitters.
steak tartare,
Yeah.
eating pussy, like all this stuff.
not good.
It was frowned upon when you were 9. Now
I like the evolution of what you just said.
it's considered a
Yeah.
delicacy.
Yeah.
It's a delicacy.
I'm talking about the steak tartare.
Oh, okay.
Gina.
You cannot imagine how wrong you are.
All right, let's wrap it up.
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news.
Oh, crotch ants.
That was the news with Gina Grad.
You put the hook in the eye of the minnow, and then it'll be like live bath. Like I'm not putting a hook into the eye of one of God's creatures.
Yeah.
And then when you get the fish on, you have to hit it with the bat.
Yeah,
you know?
dress it.
You hit it with the bat, and then later we'll gut it. You
Yeah.
know, and I'm like, let's go to the seafood market and let's see what halibut costs.